Asato ma satgamaya tamasho ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal world to the real. Om, lead us from the darkness and ignorance unto wisdom and light. Om, lead this mortal soul towards immortality. Lead the representant souls to peace, peace, and peace. Namaste. We bow to the divine within you. मैं आपके हृदय के अंतराल से भगवान प्रणाम करती हूँ. So we have today Dr. Monica Gupta with us. It's a very big blessing and it's an inner joy for us to be with her today. And I think it's a wonderful divine opportunity to introduce her to you in this episode of Inspiring Minds and Inspiring Lives. Dr. Monica Gupta is a real seeker, and from a seeker, I think she has moved and elevated herself so beautifully that she has reached up to this level of, transforming people from deep within. As far as I know her, it's my personal experience that whenever I come to her, I just feel that bliss. And that's what is transforming minds, I guess. She gives that ultimate love and the joy, which is that vibrant joy from within, That's why she is here. She is a doctor, she's a psychologist, a psychotherapist, and a revered teacher who is teaching Kriya Yoga to the world. And from her all experiences in this life, in this last 15 to 20 years that she's been practicing, I think she has phenomenally contributed to Kriya Yoga, and not only to Kriya Yoga, but she has contributed beautifully to the world of wellness and yoga as a tradition. She knows how to deliver it to her seekers, in what way she can motivate them, inspire them, and catch their hand. Like a small child, she holds their hand till they can take slow and steady steps towards the path of spirituality. Over to her to speak about Kriya Yoga. Namaste, Maan. I'd love to hear some words from you.
Thank you so much, Madhvi. You have been very kind and generous in your introduction. I would say I'm just a seeker, and I have been a very fortunate seeker. So for me, spirituality started when I was 27 years old, and I read this book called Autobiography of a Yogi. And just reading that book brought so much of upheaval in my life, in the sense it was a desire I did not know that exists, and the desire to learn Kriya Yoga. It was so very clear to me that if I did not learn Kriya Yoga in this life, I had no other purpose. My life was a failure. That was all that I was born to. And in the autobiography, it is mentioned about praying to Mahavatar Babaji. So I just started praying to him that, Babaji, I wanted it. And I didn't know about Babaji before I read in the book that I need to learn Kriya. And then, of course, I'm not going to repeat the incidents. Everything is there in my book. How I met my guru and how I came to start learning Kriya Yoga. And it is such an amazing thing that happened that within the first week of starting to do the practices that my guru had taught me, I could feel changes in my body, in my mind, just in the first week itself. And as I progressed, like every day, it became more and more clear to me that this was my path. I was doing the right thing. This was what I had come here to do. Many years later, yes, Kriya Yoga as a process. So it is a very scientific process, as has been given by Yoganandaji in Autobiography of a Yogi as well. A process of breathing. So what is happening is we are all breathing beings. All of us human beings breathe. But we don't know really how to breathe properly. We are breathing at a default mode. Even when we buy a smartphone, we don't leave it on default settings, right? We change the settings as per our needs. We add more apps to it. We, close or open notifications. We do so many changes as per our needs. But breathing, we just keep on doing in a default manner, never learning what is the right way of breathing. And Kriya Yoga is, of course, it helps you, it helps your health become better, it helps so many things. But the most important quality of Kriya Yoga process is that it aligns your energy in such a way that your brain cells, which are actually closed for most of the humanity, we may not realize it, but we are operating with a very small portion of our brain. And maximum of our brain, we can even say about 85%, very approximately I'm saying, is closed. So those cells start opening up, because of that breath, because that breath is so subtle. And Kriya Yoga breath is actually a spinal breathing process. So the way the breath is taken is through the spine. And when the breath is taken in a particular manner, it directly goes into your, you are focusing on the third eye. So it starts impacting your third eye. And it starts opening the brain cells which otherwise, we cannot open them through a material process. That cannot be done. And sometimes when I say the brain cells open, people tend to believe that if the brain cells open, that means, your IQ would increase, or, you would be able to learn things quickly and things like that.
Intuition will become like, very sharp.
Correct. So what happens is we understand this world through the five senses only. And these five senses are operating and giving us information, which information we are processing and making sense of things and leading our life. But through Kriya Yoga process, when the brain opens and you expand, your consciousness expands, the things that you realize are beyond these five senses. And eventually you come to realize, what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that you are not just this mortal body. No, this mortal body is only a thing, an object or an instrument that you are using to express yourself. Like how today we use a smartphone to call with everybody, to talk to everybody, to process so much information. But that does not make us the mobile phone, right? We are not that. Similarly, this body is not us. We are much, much more beyond that. That is the realization that happens. And I have been very fortunate. I found the guidance of my guru. In a very disciplined manner, followed the process of Kriya Yoga, what was taught to me. And yes, there were certain realizations that happened which completely changed my outlook towards life. And then I was again guided by my gurus only that it was time for me now to start guiding others and help them walk on the Kriya Yoga path. And fortunately, I and my husband Revered, he's also a Kriya Yogi. And because we have one son who's now settled, so we have now devoted and dedicated our lives to teach others, whoever is interested in learning, whoever is interested in knowing more than what they are. Not about just solving their, worldly problems, because, that is what, as a psychologist, that is what people come to me, right? With their mental issues. But I say, forget one mental issue, you can come and solve all your problems. So I'm 100% available to anyone who's interested in Kriya Yoga or generally even, progressing in spirituality.
Thank you so much. It's really nice to hear that in-depth understanding of Kriya Yoga from you. I can definitely say that Ma, who I call her Ma actually, Dr. Monica Gupta, she's a perfect combination of that science and spirituality, She's the one who has experienced life on the other side and she has seen the life this side. So she's a perfect balance, a perfect combination of science and spirituality. You want to learn Kriya Yoga, I can definitely recommend from my own experiences and my own impressions that I had after meeting her. My many questions regarding desires, regarding, renunciation, when people get stuck with things. She has always guided me in this path. Basic question is there in everybody's mind, like, does spirituality needs to leave the house? And this is a very fundamental question that comes to a layman's mind, and people get scared to get into spirituality or think about spirituality, associate themselves with spiritual minded people, assuming that if they are into this, then they have to leave all the materialistic pleasures, or the ongoing process which they are in, the format, I can say, in which they are in, that they have to leave the format and reformat themselves to enter into the spiritual format. What is your take on this? And can you just throw some light to the people, to the audience, in a realistic way, how they can just nurture themselves in spirituality?
Sure. So there is a little bit truth in this fear of people thinking that if they come into spirituality, they have to leave everything. Actually, they don't have to. Once they really understand, they come on the spiritual path, there is no need to leave anything. You can just continue the way you are. But what happens is that the people they are associated with, that means their family. Let's say if you are someone who's married and you have a husband and you have a child, then the husband starts fearing that if she becomes interested in spiritual, she will not pay attention to me. That is the fear most people have. It is because of the stories they have heard. It is because of the concepts that they have. It is because of the ideas that they have. And if you see, like, people who are with your partners, I would say, or your family, whether for a married person or even for unmarried girls, like I know there are girls who would want to come in, but the parents would dissuade them that no, you don't have to go into the spiritual path. You have to get married and all that. Because society has a way of thinking. It is, in my words, I would say they are living in darkness, and they want everybody to live in darkness. Okay? So if somebody starts walking towards the spiritual path, they become very afraid. Like, the darkness is always afraid of light, right?
True.
So they feel that, and why do I need my son or daughter or my partner not to be with me? It is also to fulfill my desires. See, each one of us is nothing but, I would say, a creature filled with desires, and all the time working to fulfill our desires. Even the relationships that we have, what are those relationships doing for us? The relationships are there to, again, help us fulfill our desires. Okay? I fulfill your desires, you fulfill my desires. Now, if suddenly my partner or my child or my parent wants to go on the spiritual path, the worry that comes to me is, oh my God, now he or she will not be available to fulfill my desires. So I become extremely selfish, and the whole society, most of the society, look down upon, or they become afraid, or they try to stop you, and sometimes people try to emotionally blackmail you so that you don't go into it. Forget about everybody else. I always give example of Gautam Buddha. He, of course, never took permission. He just left. But even when he came back after 12 years, his father said, you come back. I am your father. You come back. And you just take over. I will forgive you for what you have done. So it is natural. So that's why people think, or they are afraid that they have to leave everything. But in real spirituality, Madhuri, if you have the right guru and the right path, that is all that you need. Only two things to progress in spirituality. What? There has to be a right path. There are so many paths, like we talk about Gyan Marg, Karma Marg, Bhakti Marg, Tantra Marg, Yoga Marg. Take any path which suits your palate. I mean, why do we have so many paths? Because everybody has a different taste. And you find a right guru who can teach you, who can hold your hand to walk in that path. That is all that you need to do. And with the right guru and with the right path, you can continue to do, you can continue to live with your family, do whatever that you are doing. As I said, I'm still living with my family. I'm still working. I'm doing all the worldly
Signing
things.
examples for that.
And I am, while I'm totally into the spiritual part, like I would say, so from outside,
You don't
I'm
get
doing
any
these.
habits like from, I mean, it's
I think I've been very
open question to
fortunate.
you.
I have been very fortunate first to find a husband who was very supportive. So, and I think had I not been married, maybe I may have faced hurdles coming from my
So
parents.
what will be your answer to them who might be having challenges with their family or husband who was be stopping them to do it?
Correct. No, very valid point that there are people. So what I tell them is that don't leave anything. If you have been married and if you have a child, you have responsibilities, right? It has already come to you. Yes, you may have done that in ignorance. They have taken on these responsibilities in ignorance. But then now that you have taken, please fulfill them to the best of your ability, whatever you can do, and do your sadhana. Just as I said, without guru and path, you cannot move. So if you have a guru path, that means there is a sadhana. Whatever sadhana is given to you, keep doing the sadhana and keep fulfilling your responsibilities. And a day will come for sure when all your responsibilities will be fulfilled. Then you will not have to worry. You can just go ahead and, do your sadhana. And a time will also come where your responsibilities will no longer feel like responsibilities.
Wow, that's really nice. So we heard a guru is the one who dispels darkness. So you need a life guru. You need a person or a guru or knowledge to hold your hand. And we have her here with us. So we have this beautiful book written by Dr. Monica Gupta, Silent Wisdom, A Journey from Somebody to Nothing. As she calls herself, and her gurus named her, rechristened her to Muni. She's more popular as Muni, was teaching Kriya Yoga through Silent Wisdom School, Silent Wisdom website, and this book is an eye-opener for you to know all about her, okay? And once again, I would like to say thank you to her for publishing this facts and experiences and nurturing people through her own experiences. I think this will be a very big breakthrough for people who want to really get into spirituality. So with this, I'd like to take a see off from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madhvi.
Thank you.